Yep, we're live. Welcome, everyone. My name is Niki Lopez of What's Your Elephant, and this program is The Art of Justice. This is brought to you by the LA Lee YMCA Mizell Community Center, and today we're going to be focusing on solidarity, collectively working for change. I'm a multidisciplinary visual artist, as well as a social practitioner and a cultural programmer. And I've had the pleasure of working a few projects, including this one with the LA Lee YMCA Center. And so we have an art making workshop and a community dialogue tonight. And I'm going to turn it over to Gabriel to give his intro.
Hi, everyone. So yes, thank you so much for deciding to spend your time with us tonight. So behind me is the new LA, so it's almost done. So hopefully we'll be opening in the next few months. So we're very excited. And at this point, we are very thankful to you and to Niki and everyone on the screen because you have decided to just cooperate and support this project. So talking about this topic is very interesting because it's always trying to see what is happening and finding the way how we can take action. And in this particular case today, so just to put a team together and look at the network and be able to do things and try to sometimes not change completely the injustice, but they really bring things to light. So for example, the team got together and talked to people in the community and created also a series of webinars to talk about how race and equity is actually impacting people's health. And they have gone through a different kind of topic. So I'm very excited. This seems to be almost our last topic. So, and hopefully everyone that has participated has found useful at every meeting that we have to find some tools on how to make change depending on where you are at and in the capacity of change that you may have. So thank you everyone for being here today.
And Khaulah or Sheree? Sure.
Sheree.
Hi, my name is Sheree Greer. I am a writer based in Tampa, Florida. I'm also the founding director of Kitchen Table Literary Arts, which is a literary arts nonprofit also based in Tampa. We support and showcase the work of Black women and women of color writers. I am really excited to be here today. I will be talking a little bit about solidarity, but also just kind of being the point person for my dear friend, my good friend, incredible artist, Khaulah Naima Nuruddin.
Awesome. So I am Khaulah Naima Nuruddin, and I am an artist and an educator. And my role as an educator, is I'm really excited to be here today because this is what I love. Solidarity is so important to me, and this is the reason I'm an educator, in order to build community and strong, familial, communal relationships. So it's really exciting to be part of this last iteration of these workshops because it's going to be like the fun one, maybe. A little more lighthearted, if you will, because we've been talking about some very heavy things, in these conversations. So, I really am looking forward to, kind of relaxing a little bit. And that's what happens when we're working together. So I'm an artist, an educator. I work across different mediums, and I'll show you a couple of my works, as we, move forward. And I also serve as the exhibitions manager at the Spady Museum, a Black History Museum in Delray Beach. So we love to have new guests come see what we're doing. Making sure that, local Black history is acknowledged, honored, and preserved. So that's mild intro to all the many things that concern me and that I'm involved in. So let's get into it, right?
Yeah, so a little bit that I forgot off in the beginning, and I'm gonna read the focus for today. So the art of justice is the art making as a catalyst for social justice and collective action. It's an art making series that features a social justice themed presentation, artist-led workshops across literary, visual, and performing arts, and culminating showcase that will highlight the work created in the workshops while encouraging critical conversations about access, advocacy, agency, and collective action. So this series, like we said a little bit before, we've been doing this for several months now. It culminates in January of 2022. And if you want to find out more information about the project and also RSVP for future events, you could go to whatsyourelephant.org/the art of justice, and I'll put the link in the Zoom and on the Facebook. Someone said that they could not hear, so I don't know if it might be an isolated thing or if everyone else can hear us. Can everyone hear? Okay. So today we're focusing on solidarity, collectively working for change. Solidarity actions refers to working with others to perform for the collective betterment. It requires the recognition of injustice and knowledge of social and navigate and the social landscapes within power, privilege, and oppression, to work across differences, to find a common ground, to achieve equity within humanity. This lens inspires solidarity action through the arts. It requires coalition building with a group and networking with other groups through empathy, cooperation, and effective conflict resolution. And also, I forgot to mention that the support for this project comes from the Community Foundation of Broward, Oakland Park Women's Club, David and Frances Horvitz Family Fund, and Adams Fund, and the Mary and Alex McKenzie Community Impact Fund. So I just want to give a special thank you for the Community Foundation of Broward for funding this project and getting this out to the community. All of the events are free of charge. So we have a showcase in the end of the month where Sheree will be the performing artist. So please RSVP for that. And I will turn it over to Khaulah to take us away.
Okay. Well, actually, we're going to turn it over to Sheree. So if you want to go ahead and lead us with your take on solidarity.
Yeah, so when I saw I was going to be kind of a special guest and contributing to the workshop tonight, I was trying to think of a good quote that sort of reflects this idea of solidarity, which to me means bridging across communities, standing with others, caring about yourself, but then also caring about others. And what does that look like? And so I was led to this quote by Leela Watson. She is an artist, activist, and educator who dedicated her life to educating people nationally and internationally, particularly about Indigenous Australian culture. She is an Indigenous Australian from the Gangaloo tribe. She was born in 1940. And part of her claim to fame is being an Aboriginal and Islander child welfare worker in Australia. And so she, I don't want to say single-handedly, because she wouldn't say single-handedly, but she was sort of the driving force that informed the Child Protection Act of 1999 in Australia. She is anti-apartheid. She's like 90. She's anti-apartheid, anti-colonialist. She is also a visual artist, which I didn't know at first, but I was really excited to find that out. She uses this technique where she burns holes into paper, and she uses like burn marks and scorch marks and smoke marks to make images related to her spirituality. Her home, which I love this, she calls it her mother's motherland, and nature. And so I was like, I didn't know she was a visual artist. So that felt like a bonus because of course we've got Khaulah tonight, who's a visual artist and has some really unique approaches to art making herself. So I'm gonna share the quote with y'all. And when y'all read it, y'all gonna know exactly why I chose it. It's that good. It's that good. So let's get into it. Here's her quote. If you have come to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. So I'm gonna let that sit for a second and let y'all marinate on it for a second, and think about like, what does that mean to you to say like, and I'll just read it again. If you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. How's that sitting with anybody? You can drop it in the chat or unmute. How's that sitting with you? I think somebody typed. Anybody typing? Nah. I think what's particularly telling about this quote is, one, she's using to me some pretty strong language, which is, if you come in to like help me or pity me, feel sorry for me, then you are wasting your time. Like, that's a very deliberate statement to me. You are wasting your time, which means to me, we're not gonna get nothing done that way. Not approaching me as if it's charity, not approaching me like, oh, how can I help your cause? That's a waste of time. But she's like, if you feel like you getting free and me getting free is the same, then let's work together. Thank you for that, Nastasia. That's nice. Instead of just helping one person, let's help each other. And then Liz got bound up with mine. For me, that's like what really got it for me, is like, because bound is also a strong word, right? So as a writer, I'm thinking about her word choice, being bound together, not standing together, not standing behind you, not, I got your back. Like, we are bound together in our freedom. You get free, I get free, let's all get free.
I wanted to throw in two things that this quote kind of reminded me of. There was a program I did last year with Derek Davis, and we were talking, what came up is talking about racism and the cost of racism, and how it doesn't just impact the oppressed. So everyone is feeling it. So it's like, if you're coming to help me because you think, oh, these poor little things, let me help you. No, but it impacts everyone. So I think it reminds me of that conversation, because he also went into like how the cost of it, and how sometimes we don't think about that. We just think about the people who are being downtrodden, but it really impacts the whole globe of humanity, being oppressed, racism, any of these things.
Absolutely. So seeing that as a situation where we're bound together. Yes, I'm to where we can, like, this when we stand together, and then it becomes a thing where even if this situation or this particular oppression, even if I don't think it's affecting me, it's affecting you, so it's affecting me. One of the things Khaulah likes to say, and we've been friends over 20 years, she say, if you got a problem, then a problem got a problem. And that to me is what that quote is about. If you got a problem, then a problem got a problem, because now we all about to get on it. And so that to me just encapsulates what we mean when we talk about solidarity. So I'm excited for Khaulah to walk us through the art making today. That'll have us kind of reflect on what that might look like in action for each of us even tonight.
And I see on Facebook, Valerie said, I'm loving that quote because people who don't have any skin in the game, so to speak, won't really understand what it will take and why. A reason why I won't drop the cause when it gets uncomfortable, because I'm already uncomfortable by the state of affairs. I love that quote.
Nice. All right.
I love that comment from the Facebook person who's, tuning in. And thank you for tuning in, whoever's here out there on the internet. Because the cause, and this is another thing that I like to say, every cause is a cause, okay? Every cause is a cause. You might feel like your tragedy is the only thing that matters because it affects you, but that's where the empathy comes in. It's not just about you. We don't walk this earth alone. And if we do, we probably have some psychological issues, So there's no reason to be on earth and not engage in being community, in building and standing in solidarity. And being bound to other people is something that, as human beings, we should feel it. And I think we are born with this. Some more than others, but we are born this way. And when we disconnect from others, it's because we're taught to be disconnected. So I enjoy that comment.
We have a couple of other comments in the chat. Arabelle, don't be discouraged, and also Alana, we are all impacted by the journey of life and the system in place. Whether you know it or not, these problems are ours and the solution will come from us.
All right, let's get to the solution. Or at least playing around with thinking about solutions. Okay, so Sheree is a master Zoomer. She has.
You ready to jump into your images?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so
image time.
So because this is not about me, right? This workshop is not about me. It's about everyone who's here to participate in it and share what comes out of it with the people you engage with. But it's also about me leading the workshop, right? So it's important for you to have an understanding for the work I make and why I create it. So here are a couple of pieces that we're going to look at a few of my pieces that are going to lead us directly into, thinking about how we're going to, as individuals, approach this workshop. So this piece here is a segment of a larger room that I had installed in Miami for an exhibition. And this table, so the room was called a sacred space. So this table rested on the floor, and these body parts are cast from participants from the community, Black women who were willing to share themselves with me and with the community to talk about their pain, if you will, or their joy. So something that's important to them that they're bringing to the table. And as Black women, as much as we contribute to the table, we are not allowed to sit at it quite often. And if we're sitting at the table, folks want us to be quiet, okay, and nod and agree. So I felt it very important, and I still do, to really highlight and acknowledge, the individuals who are every day walking in their truth and are willing to share that in a safe space. And that's what the majority of my work is about creating safe spaces. So if we look at the next slide, this kind of digs into that safe space conversation. So I'm primarily a painter, but I draw and clearly make installations of cast figures and strange sculptures, I suppose. So, I work across mediums, but painting is my true love. So this painting here, it has all of these repeating elements. And this is going to be important as we move forward and get into this art making activity. These repeating forms are portals. So these are windows, doorways, exits, entryways, and this speaks to creating space that we don't have and building ways to navigate all of the things that are necessary for us to be free, if you will. So let's go to the next slide here. And this is where you're going to start seeing more of that repetition. So this piece here, this is a relatively large oil painting on birch. And in the corner there, this is a platform. And again, you'll see those repeated forms, those rectilinear shapes. The shape in the corner there is a platform that the red speaks to all of the sacrifice we make as we, again, try to navigate all of the barriers that are set in place for, marginalized groups to, just be relatively happy, So if you go to the next slide, you'll see that a detailed image of this piece. The red has all of these like thousands of tiny little scratch marks that have been placed into the paint. And that little portion there has this repeated Sankofa. It's a stylized Sankofa symbol that speaks to reaching back and moving forward. Okay, so we can go to the next slide. And I'm showing you this work to illustrate the labor that we do. Okay, so all of the labor that we do to, keep pushing into the day. But it also speaks to how important that labor is when we're working toward building something. Okay, so in this piece, this is the entire piece, but if we go to the next slide, you can see a little bit better. The atmosphere is composed of thousands and thousands of tiny little hatch marks, tiny little scratches. And this is graphite on paper, which is why today we're using graphite on paper, because it speaks to this work. So I have a couple more pieces I want to share with you that, illustrate this method or this approach. So we'll look at the next slide there, and you'll be able to better see the intensity of this work. Okay, so this is also graphite on paper, and this structure is Zora Neale Hurston's last home. And I like to look to highlighting and primarily the labor that Black women do. So Zora Neale Hurston, brilliant woman. It's just honoring this structure and that entire space around it. And this is just a little portion of the home, the entryway. So again, you'll see these same elements throughout my work. So the space around it is strictly made of these tiny little marks. So these drawings, as small as they may seem, they are very big in what they're addressing. Okay. So the next.
Khaulah, did you want to take a question? I think somebody raised a hand.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so go ahead and unmute yourself. It's a conversation.
Oh, I'm muted?
No, not you, whoever has the question.
Ah.
or no? You could type it in the chat too.
Yep. Feel free to jump in at any moment and ask a question. And if you want to, if anyone here wants to go back and address something that I maybe have gone too quickly over, then absolutely we can do that.
When were these paintings made, AJ?
Yeah, the question is when did you do these? When did you do these pieces? Can you talk a little bit about when you took on this work?
It's actually been a slow building. So the first piece that we looked at, the table of Black women, that piece, I created that right before quarantine. Yeah, because it was definitely face-to-face activity, and we were able to meet in person to have a couple of talks. And with all of my work, I always I'm making the work to have conversations and to move the needle forward on getting us free. So it was wonderful to be able to do that. So that first piece was right before quarantine. This one here is an older piece. I did that in grad school. So maybe like 4 years ago, something like that. And this is where I first, started pushing into, making these, repetitive elements, more obvious. So the next one was, this was very recent. So this was last year? And this is where my work is starting to get more abstracted, or my painting is more abstracted. So in my drawings, they're relatively abstract. There are always some very concrete elements in there, so that it's clear that I want it to be clear that this happened. This is real. And those drawings, if you move forward, not this one. So this is a house that was dozed down in Delray Beach. And clearly it's dilapidated. If you move to the next one, it's, a little closer, and you can see it's all, hurricane ravished, okay? And I take these photos because this work is about, fixing things, not that things are necessarily broken, but they are, so fixing things. So they're the world is designed, or the social landscape, the international social landscape is designed to, it's harmful, okay? So I look at these structures almost like, individuals, like people, and they house people. And, it's important to, honor the work that structure has done. But we don't have to break everything down. Sometimes we can fix things. So this particular structure was deemed unfixable. Is that a word?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Unfixable? Okay, let's go to the next one there. So this is all part of the scratching series now as we move forward. Pretty much all of my work has, for the last couple of years, had scratching in it. So it's all quite recent. I'm constantly working, so there's that. I think I answered the question.
Oh. AJ said he has another question after you had finished that other piece. So I don't know if you want to take that now.
What's the question?
AJ, if you want to unmute.
Yeah, my question, I think you might have already answered this, but was there like some particular reasons why you did these or not?
Absolutely. Yeah, so hey AJ. So the reason I created these pieces was to highlight. So it's mostly about building safe spaces for my community, for the Black community. But again, building safe spaces, when the Black people are safe, guess what? We're all gonna be safe. Okay, so it's about building safe spaces. So these pieces, these drawings that are on paper, they are actual homes, actual structures that I took photos of, when I was traveling about. So this one that we're looking at, this is in Eatonville, where Zora Neale Hurston is from. So, just documenting, the past that, I have kind of overlapped with, whether or not I actually met the people who lived there, but just kind of documenting that these people existed and they are important people in our history, and their labor, it fuels my passion to, do things strongly in the world, to be as amazing as I can be. And in theory, this will make it better for the people who come after me. So that's essentially what everything I do is about, all my work. But these particular drawings are very, specific in that those are places that existed. Unlike if you move forward on the slides. So this too. So let's look at a close-up of this. Look how intense the atmospheric space is. So these are all trees and they're clouds. So if you go back and forth a little bit, Sheree, like look at the last one. So you'll see all of this is the side of a home also in Eatonville. And it's dilapidated. It should be given much, much love that it has not received. And now if you move forward, you can see how all of that atmospheric space is just tiny little thousands and thousands of scratches. And this is my nod to, the people who came before me. Okay, so let's move on. Let's get to the activity. Unless there are any other questions for me or Sheree. All right.
I just want to add one thing too, that anyone who's watching live on Zoom or Facebook, or who's going to watch it on the replay, there is an upcoming showcase that Sheree will be featured in. So if you complete the work, it doesn't have to be completed tonight, but if you complete the work and send it in and submit it, that it will be included in the virtual showcase. So I'm hoping that we get some entries from tonight.
All right. So
All right,
we
I'm gonna
can,
put the screen back up.
yes.
There we go.
Okay, so now we're going to get into it. We're going to make a collage, and it's going to be all about this repetitive mark. It's going to, pull from what we just talked about, the repetitive mark making. So what everyone will need is paper. It can just be regular copy paper. If you have a sketchbook or a journal, you can use that, but you have to know that we're going to be tearing those pages out. So if you don't want to rip pages from your personal sketchbook or journal, don't do it. So what I'm actually using is just some standard copy paper, okay? So, and you can use scrap paper for this as well if you wanted to. But it does need to be paper because we're going to be manipulating it later on. So you need paper, you need a drawing tool. It can be a regular old pencil or any drawing tool, really. Markers, crayons, whatever you have that you want to use. But a pencil is what I'm going to be using. Tape or glue, we're going to need that later. You need some patience, okay? This is on the list, okay? So you're going to need some patience, okay? Because consider what I just shown you. That requires much, much patience, okay? You're also going to need a tiny bit of trust, okay? A tiny bit of trust.
Ordered
We
some
need
trust on Amazon, but it didn't get here yet.
You ordered your trust. You got to get that next day. Mhm. Or get some from
Get that.
Walmart.
You gotta
Get
get
some
that prime. You gotta get that prime.
So the tiny bit of trust, the reason we need this is because this is a workshop. You can choose to participate or not, but we're trusting each other to be kind. Yeah. And if you want to participate, we would love for you to do that. Share your experience of what we're working on and what you're getting out of it or what you want to push into it. So that tiny bit of trust is going to be necessary for sharing. And also because I'm not going to tell you exactly what we're doing right away. Okay. So I'm going to tell you the second part after we get through the first part. Okay. So you're going to have to trust me that we're doing something that's going to be fun. That's a little bit more than a tiny bit of trust, but there's that. All right, so let's go to the next image here. So this is the materials. paper and pencil. Okay, anyone who's on the internet does anyone notice anything special about this paper and pencil? Or notice anything at all about it?
I don't have the green paint on my pencil.
That pencil ain't got much of an eraser.
It does not. It does not.
It's sharp than a mug though.
It is sharp. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are very important points. The reason I want to make these points or to extract something from you about this is because it's important to understand that art making is for everybody. Okay? It's for everyone. Now, that's not going to make you an artist. No. No. But art making is for everyone. All you need is a pencil and some paper. And you don't even need that because we could draw in the sand with a stick. Okay? So drawing is the original fundamental art making. Okay? So everybody, art making is for everyone. And let no one tell you otherwise. You can draw, period. Everybody can draw. It's not going to make you an artist, but you can draw, okay? So the eraser element, there is no eraser on that pencil. Because guess what? We're not erasing. We do not need to erase anything, okay? And I know a lot of people, especially those who are judgmental around their own art making, they like to erase and say, oh, I got to fix this. I've got to fix this. I've got to fix this. Well, we're going to fix something else. But first, we got to make it, okay? So we're not erasing, all right? We're having fun and letting go, okay? This is a kind of a release activity, okay? So let's look at the next. Oh, the green is because I use that to mix some paint. You know, when you don't have a stir stick, you have a pencil. There's pencils. Okay, next. All right, so these are the other materials you will need. If you can use tape or glue. It could be wet glue or a glue stick. I'm going to be using blue tape, and you will need scissors if your tape doesn't have, if it's not easily torn. Okay, so that's the only reason you will need scissors. But if you have tape that you can tear, which is why I love blue tape, I can just tear it. If you don't have that, then you could use scissors, or you can use your teeth like that. That was a joke. Okay. Okay, so let's get into it. You can unshare the screen. All right, so Everyone has a piece of paper and a pencil, right?
Yep.
Boom. Okay. So the first thing you're gonna do is think of a shape. If you were a shape, what shape would you be? You are a shape. You can either draw the shape or you can write down what the shape would be. If you think you're a circle, you can write the word circle or you can draw a circle. This is just to get us started. Any shape. I'm making my shape right now. If you were a shape, what would you be?
Man, back in
Okay.
high school, I probably would have been a square. But doing
That red backpack.
red backpack.
Okay, so I have my shape. If you could
Tiffany says she's a circle.
Uh-oh, I wonder why. Because she matches your square, maybe.
Oh, I like that.
So now that leads us to the next part of this. If you could bring 3 shapes with you, what would they be? You already got yourself. Now you're gonna make 3 more shapes. If you could bring 3 shapes with you, what would they be? You can either draw them or you can use your words.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you said the other shapes, are these also shapes that are like my personality that has to do with me, or?
Well, the prompt for this is shapes that would complement you. So if you are this shape, and consider them friends, you know, consider what we're doing right now is we're building our community, right? The people we want to walk with us. What would they look like if they were shapes? And it doesn't have to be an identifiable shape. It doesn't have to be a rectangle or a circle, or it could be any kind of shape.
Got a lightning bolt looking situation. And then like a swirly, you know, like them swirly eddy type deals, like golden mean, like a snail almost, and a triangle.
Triangle.
Oh, look at Liz, she got a boingy thing.
A boingy thing?
I don't know what you call it. Would you call that a boingy thing, Liz? See? Boom.
Don't show it yet. Don't show it. Don't show it yet.
Oh.
Don't show us your shape yet. We're gonna reveal. Okay. Oh, my nieces are on there. Hello, nieces and cousins and nephew. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 shapes. Everyone has 4 shapes. Okay. Now, if you were a line, this is you. You are a line. If you were a single line, what would you look like? Draw your line. Okay.
Hey,
Now,
Peaches. Peaches said hi too.
Hey, Peaches. Question? You have to unmute yourself or type it in there.
You said if I'm a line?
Yes, a single line.
Isn't a line just a line?
Ooh. What do you guys think? AJ, what are your thoughts? Is a line just a line?
Well, if a line was just a line, there'd be no personality. There can be a lot of different types of lines, like squiggly lines and straight lines. There's not just a single line. If a line was just a line, then there would be no point. It's just a straight vertical or horizontal line, but you can make any kind of line and it's just not a line. It has a lot of personality within the line.
Mm-hmm. Well put.
Thank you so
Well
much.
put. Mm-hmm. So when we're talking about lines, that was excellent. Well put. It's all about the direction it goes in. Okay. So a line is just a single point that's put in motion, right? So it can go in any direction, really, right?
Yeah, Peaches says she made a zigzag.
Ooh, zigzag.
Zigzag.
So that's her.
Squiggly.
Now I want you to add 4 lines to be your community. Who's coming with you? You have yourself, and then you add 4 lines. The key to making a line is that it cannot be enclosed, okay? So any shape could become a line if you erased a certain portion of it, but we're not erasing today, okay? So once it becomes an enclosed space, then it's a shape, okay?
So you said 4 lines?
I did say 4. You can do more if you want to, or less. I accidentally made an extra shape. So if you want to do more, you can do less if you want to. All right.
I
That's
believe
it.
that was not an accident.
It was an accident.
Yeah,
Okay.
but in theory, it wouldn't be an accident. Like if you wanted to make an extra one and it was on accident, still you're making an extra one. You
So
don't
it
think
was
of
meant
it
to
as
be.
AJ.
you
So it
don't.
was meant to be. Understood.
It's just, if you want to have extra people go with you, that would that line be, someone who really supports you.
Yes, absolutely. How about you show us your shapes and lines? If anyone who's willing to share their shapes and lines, prepare yourself and you can tell us why you chose the lines and shapes or not. It's up to you. So if you want to participate, please do. Let's go.
I really
AJ?
want to.
Okay.
So these are the ones I have right now. This one was me. This is the shapes that I wanted to bring with me. These are all my lines. The lines, like this one represents how the springs are kind of bouncy. So like a bouncy person, like someone who is really, their personality is really like bubbly and bouncy. This one is a zigzag, which means, sometimes like you want to go this way, but you also want to go this way. Sometimes a little indecisive. And I feel like I could bring that with me just because if someone was supportive of me, but they're also indecisive, I could help them on my way. This one looks kind of like a backwards check mark because I don't know. I mean, this one, I didn't have any intentions of drawing it. I was like, okay, this is a line, 2 different lines because difference. This line is kind of like the half of a heart. It's kind of, but it's not really because it represents just, yeah. These shapes are a little different. This one's me. I feel like I would be either, if you look at it this way, I would either be a really asymmetrical diamond, or if you look at it like this way, I'm a square. But I feel like that because I don't know. I feel like my personality would be very, very normal, very, active. This one is for my sister because she has a very, interactive personality. She has a very different personality than me. She has a very good personality. It's very different from a lot of people. This one is for my mom because I feel like she's very organized, very uptight. I feel like triangles are very uptight, very organized, very, that one's it. This circle represents my dad because he has no, perfect like lines to him. He has none of those because he also, like my sister, has a very good bouncy personality. There is no line to his shape. It expresses him. If you have no lines to your shape, that means the lines are what makes you. Like if you have a line in your shape, like me and my mother, it means you have like a little bit of organization. But no, my dad, he has a circle because it has no size. It's very interesting.
All right. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And you brought your trust with you today. I appreciate that. We have someone else who wants to share.
Valerie on Facebook said, "Wisdom from the mouth of babes."
Got
Any other?
Razia and Samina over there got some.
Okay. You want to unmute yourselves and you can share, briefly share your shapes and lines.
What I did, my shape is a heart, and then the three shapes I would take with me is a star, a square, and a triangle. And the lines represent art.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. All right. Anyone else? Nastasia?
All right. So, I don't know if you can see this really well. Sorry about the bend. This shape is me right here. I feel like I'm very organized, but I'm also spontaneous. Like you thought this was going to be a rectangle, but wow, it's not a rectangle. It's something else, like unpredictable. And then my friend lines that carry with me, I picked this big circle because I also put it a part of me because I feel like my friends are an extension of my personality, almost like if I can't be this person, they're that person. So they like represent that for me. This squiggly line is to have a friend who's very spontaneous and that can do something crazy with me. Someone that doesn't follow rules, that, just does what they want. Adventurous. This is like an adventurous friend. And this one, I thought I was only supposed to do 2 other shapes, but this one shape, it just came at the end. So I'm not really sure what this represents, but I added it to the friends, but they're clearly not a part of me because I didn't add them to the center. The lines, this line is, you can't tell, it was supposed to be just one line. Oh no, here it is, now I can see it. This is the me line. It's straightforward, but then like, once again, there's like something different about it. So like just a little jerk in the middle. This line, once again, same theme, spontaneity. This one is just a squiggly line, but I feel like it's like weirdness. Like my community is like a weird community. I want to, I don't know, be a part of all the weirdos, I guess. That just makes sense for me. So there you go.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Okay.
Oh.
All right. So let's move on to the next step. Now what we have is our source material. Sheree, did you want to share? No.
Oh,
You don't
I mean,
have
Wait, my
to.
can.
sister wanted to share hers. My sister really wanted to share hers.
Okay.
Adrian, would you like to share yours?
Yeah.
Do you want me to talk or no?
Sure.
Okay. Hem. I share
Wait,
this.
wait, no?
This is what my sister drew because, okay, Adrian. So what does this star represent?
You.
That represent me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I love you.
Okay, that is a very good reason.
And
Thank you. Can
and because you like darkness.
cool. What does this shape represent?
What shape?
That shape. This one with the dot in the middle.
Me.
Where did that dot come from?
I don't know.
I think that made it.
That's me.
Why?
Because I feel like a square.
Do you feel like a square? Okay, nice. What is this one?
What?
This diamond half square. What does this one represent?
It represents mommy.
Why?
Because I feel like you guys are like kind of like you guys are kind of like the same a little. So
Well,
this is like in the sky. Like,
okay,
I'm
can
in
you
the
tell?
sky.
So who's that?
What?
This rectangle. This rectangle.
This
Yes.
is grandma.
Why?
Because
He's just a square.
yeah. And
Okay. Do you want to say your shapes, Adrian? Or no?
this one.
You have.
it-
Which
this-
one? This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one is my dad because
Hurry up, there's other people, she's wanting to wrap that up.
Mm,
You don't wanna sit and listen, you guys.
Oh,
just
gosh.
ramble on.
We're not rambling.
because
Okay, hurry it up, Adrian. We got no time to spare.
this
I'm
is
hungry.
daddy. Okay. I know.
I'm hungry.
This is daddy because it's daddy.
Is that okay? Hurry
This
it up.
one's me. And
Yeah. It is two of you. Awesome.
no, there's not two of me. This one's you.
That's nice. Thank you.
And this
Line.
is my best friend.
Delina?
No.
Joycelyn?
Yeah.
Joycelyn.
This one is the other one.
Delina?
Yeah.
Okay. Good job.
All right. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. Now let's go to the next step. Okay. So I have some shapes here. We don't have to go into all that, and I have some lines. All right. So what now I have here, what I have here now is source material. Okay. So just like I went out and took photos of all those houses and things like this, right? And different buildings, that's source material. And I use that in my artwork. So now we have source material, okay? And we're gonna use this to make our collage, okay? So from your shapes and lines, you are going to just fill a page up. Just fill it up, fill it up, fill it up, okay? So if you have a bunch of squares, so for example, look at this. I started this earlier just for fun, right? So say you have a bunch of squares, just like we just saw in that last share, right? Say you have a bunch of squares and that's it. You just fill the page up with the squares. But if you have a variety of shapes like I have here, you just fill the page up with all of those shapes. And this is what we're building our community now. So we're choosing the people to take with us, and we're jam packing that piece of paper, which is basically our future, right? We're jam packing that piece of paper with all the people we're choosing to take along with us, okay?
Are we doing
So
another paper?
Yeah, so that piece of paper, you can set it to the side just so you can look at it. If you say, oh no, let's say I put too many of these shapes, too many triangles. Then I'm like, hey, didn't I have other shapes? Oh yeah. Let me use some of this strange shape, or let me get one of this squirrely shape, you know? So you just fill the page up any way you want to. You don't need to erase. And if you want to use other writing tools, if you don't want to use a pencil, I got these pencils from the dollar store, color pencils from the dollar store. I have some markers also from the dollar store. If you have any other drawing materials, you can use whatever you want, okay? But if you have a pencil, you can get it popping with the pencil, okay? So we're gonna take about 10 minutes, and you can, wherever you are, if you wanna put on a little music, or I heard some people talking about they wanted a snack. You wanna get a little snack, you can do that, but you can put on any kind of music you want, but we're gonna do this for about 10 minutes, okay? Because it takes a little bit of time. Now, see how I made mine really tiny? You don't have to make yours tiny. You can make some big, some small. You can overlap them. Some of mine overlap. You can overlap them or make none of them touch. Do it however you want to. And there's no wrong way to build your community, okay? So just fill it up, okay? And you wanna go end to end. So just take a really concentrated time and fill your page up, okay? And if you want to put on a little music, I'm going to listen to something over here, but, you know, softly. If there are any comments, any questions, definitely put those through, because I'm going to be listening to you guys, okay?
I think AJ has a question. Her hand's up.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is, well, this is what my sister also asked. She said if you could, if you could draw people with the shapes.
Does he have a person? Wait, I don't understand the question. Let me be sure I understand the question. So she's going to use her face to make a person?
Yeah. I'm guessing she means like, I don't know, for like, if you made a straight line, you could use that for like a stick man or something like that. I don't know.
Ah, I see. So for this activity, it's going to be an abstract piece. And you'll see why it's important to not focus too much about making a scene, okay? So I know quite often we want to make a scene, like I want to use my triangle and my square to make a house, right? Because you know how to make a house with a triangle and a square, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so
So we don't want to do that because later when we go to the second stage, we're going to be dismantling the house, okay? So
okay.
all you want to do is fill up your page, okay? So
So
don't
the shapes
focus
you already
on
drew?
anything other than that.
Why
I have a question.
That's not. All right, cool. Take this.
Okay, and so you can mute yourself if you're not asking a active question. You're
I
asking
have a question.
Okay, well, Nastasia has a question. Okay.
You can go.
Go ahead, ask your question. Please.
Do I use another piece of paper, or do I use
Yes, you're using a fresh, clean sheet of paper, and your soap paper, you just set this off to the side, and you can use it as a reference. No, don't throw it in the trash. This is your community. Don't throw your community in the trash. Okay? So keep that to the side, and you can look at it as a reference, so you can fill up your page with all the shapes.
I have a question. Are we filling up our page with all the shapes from our source page, or just one?
All of them.
All of
And
them.
you can use them as often or as little as you want. So let's say you're like, I decided to have a triangle in my friend group, and I can only deal with so much triangle in my life. If that's the case, then use fewer triangles, because you, like Adrienne was saying, she liked the bouncy shape. If you want more bouncy in your life, put more bouncy in it. But only use the shapes you've already created, okay? Because these are the people in our world, and we're going to, you know, just enjoy them all over the paper.
Samina, you had a question too?
Yes. Do we need color pencils for this?
No, you do not. You only need a pencil. See, I got this pencil right here. It's just a regular old pencil with no eraser, right? Because we're not erasing. So you can use color if you want to. Like, a lot of people love color. I do too. You've seen my paintings, right? So if you feel like you want to use color, use color. But you don't have to go get other materials, because all we need is a pencil so we can get our shapes on the page. Okay? So we have probably about 4 minutes now, but no, we have about
No,
10
you got
minutes.
time. You got
So
time.
we have about 10 minutes. Fill your page up. Nikki, are you doing it too? Yeah. Oh, really? Wow. Hey, Ife, Farrell. Hey, y'all.
Hi.
How's it going over there?
Good. I'm done.
What's that? Oh, there's Farrell back there. Hey, thanks for joining.
No, we're not.
Hmm? And remember, you can make your shapes go in any direction you want. So say you have a triangle and it is pointed in one direction on your source material, you can change the direction on the page. Because, right, like AJ said, it's not always one way, right? Oh wait, was that Natasha? I don't remember. Someone said something about that. So you can change the direction of your shapes in order to fill your page. have about 4 more minutes. And don't worry about making it really dense. It doesn't have to be packed in real tight. And remember, you can make some shapes bigger, some shapes smaller. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by filling up the page, but fill it up anyway, right? Okay, 2 more minutes. All right, we're getting the time's up. How's it going?
We're almost finished.
Almost finished? Anyone else need a little more time? You can shake your head or nod or something. Okay.
These are some shy guys here.
Maybe they're just focused. Okay, let's check in on some people who might be done. Anyone feeling like you filled the page? No?
No.
No.
Let's see what you got.
Let me see. I don't know.
If you could just hold it up, just hold it up. You don't have to say anything. You just hold up what you have and see where you all are. Okay. Oh, okay. Pretty good, pretty good.
I'm a little embarrassed. I think I did it wrong.
Hold up what you got. Just hold it up so I can see what everyone has, and then I can coach us into the next step.
Ain't no wrong.
Yeah.
Ain't no wrong.
Yeah, you're doing it. You guys.
That's what my community looks like.
It's rich. What you got?
A lot of overlapping.
Yes. What
Touch.
you got?
That's my love language.
Razia, Samina, can I see what you guys have? Just so I can coach you into the next step. So I can see where we all are. Hold your papers up, ma'ams. Oh, okay. Looks like you're making a scene almost. What about you, Samina? Okay, started filling up that page. All right. What else? No one else has their video on. All right, I guess that's it. Sheree and Niki, what you got?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
And then, sorry.
What about you, Sheree? What you got? Oh, okay. Nice. Built that thing up. What about you two? Ife? Akani? Okay. Definitely made some progress. You got a lot of lines in there. What else we got?
Valerie, do you have a piece? She was like, she gotta jump off of Facebook, come on a Zoom. Nice.
Okay, very nice. All right. So now let's move forward to the next step. Oh, did anyone else want to share? Valerie, Kathleen, Peaches, Miss Pam?
Liz.
Oh yeah, you did that. Nice.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So Peaches is trying to figure out her Zoom, but she sent me a picture. That's my big sister, and she's got hers was looking like she said it's not working to turn her screen on, but she's participating, and she's got some. It got a like a Native American vibe to it, which I'm really digging. So thanks, Peach.
Brilliant. Mine is looking like this. I feel like I was going too small, you know. So I was like, my hand was cramping up a little bit, you know, but that's all right. So the next step is Sheree, can you put up the what's the name where we left off?
Yep.
So
let me get it.
Sheree is the Zoom extraordinaire.
Zoom extraordinaire. Here we go. Uh-oh.
See, this is why you need a community, okay?
Community. There you
Okay,
go.
So what is that the next image? Yeah. Okay. Uh-oh, I might get in trouble because I know these youngins, they know Japanese out here. You know. So but Kinsukori is a method for repairing pottery. Okay, this is like an ancient Japanese method for repairing pottery. Why the heck are we talking about this when we're making a drawing? So while I'm discussing this, you can keep working on filling your page if you want to. But why are we talking about this? Because it's all about healing, okay? Repairing the community, okay? And part of that is bringing people with us everywhere we go who are going to, you know, as AJ said, be supportive, okay? And it takes a variety of individuals to make this happen, to, you know, push us into, you know, a more a healed space. And as skeptical as I am about, the world ever actually being healed, am also very hopeful about, in the area of, you know, people I think want to be good. And if we can nurture each other, we can heal the things that we've experienced, from since the time we learned to speak, right? So this so just like drawing, pottery is one of the oldest, original art forms. Okay. Even before people were firing clay, so this method for creating these artworks is a method that came about because, it takes time to build the pot, right? Especially if you don't have a wheel or you're using a manual wheel, it takes time and effort to create these objects, and then you have to fire the object in a kiln, or, there are ways to fire these objects so that they're nice and hard, so you can use them over and over again. There are other methods that are more ancient that are just like fire pits, right? So you have to build a fire and stoke it and watch it and make sure it's, at peak temperature. And then you have to bring the temperature down. So creating pottery, a finished pot is a process. And it's an investment of time and energy and love, right? Um, so this method for repairing pots came out of wanting to just save the pots that you spent so much time on. But it turns out that this makes the pot stronger than it could ever have been. And it's because it was broken, right? So enamel is, uh, it's a very strong liquid that dries hard, and it will keep everything stuck together, right? But what the Japanese did was added gold dust to it, right? And now you can use any kinds of metal to do this. So you can use, aluminum or any kind of metal, and you put the pot back together, and then you just, on all those little cracks, all those parts, they come back together, and they're stronger after the harm that has happened to this object. It's stronger than it would have been if it had been exactly the way it was designed to be. And I think this is a really important thing to consider when we talk about healing. And it's unfortunate that we have to talk about, going through something and becoming stronger, but this is where we are. This is the world, right? So Sheree, if you can go to the next image. And this is what we're talking about with solidarity. It's about conflict resolution, right? So imagine, so this shows you the process, okay? So yes, here you have a broken pot or bowl or plate or whatever, right? So this broken thing, it was designed to be one way, but now that it's gone through all of this conflict, something has to be resolved so that it can come back together. So all those little parts, this is kind of like the people that we're bringing with us, okay? This is our community. And sometimes there's a piece over there that's smaller, there's a piece over there that's bigger, and then we're looking for another piece that maybe blew up in the kiln. So, we need to get all of those parts together and then bind them, like that quote that Sheree shared with us earlier. so that we are bound together in solidarity to be stronger. And the piece on the end, you'll see that all this love and care has been put into not only binding those parts back together, but then decorating it lovingly. You know, it's like if you have a scar and you get a cool tattoo on there, on top of it, or something like this, right? It's about lovingly decorating these things, these parts of us that we have to heal, so that we can, together be stronger. So what we're going to do, are there any questions, thoughts, or observations? You can close it out, Sheree, if you want to. Yeah. So, did anyone have anything to express?
The chat was lighting up, particularly folks resonating with the concept you introduced of it. And then I like how Nikki put in parentheses, we are stronger, like it's stronger because it is broken, so it becomes, and then also it becomes a new thing in a way. I think too, it becomes a stronger thing, a more beautiful thing, a more valuable thing. I think somebody dropped in the chat that, yeah, Liz said it's more valuable with the gold now.
Absolutely.
So that's what was going on in the chat, just really resonating with that.
And you know what's really special about this is that these pots are, yes, very valuable, and they're sought after. And the process to heal these pots takes longer than it took to actually make them. So some of them it could take a year to go through this process, when it maybe only took 2 weeks to make the pot, right? So the healing, we have to understand that it is work, okay? And we have to do it together,
And we've become such a disposable culture. I think it's such a beautiful message too. Instead of disposing of the broken pot, we're putting it back together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing that I have found to be, relatively troublesome, some people I just don't want to work with, It's like when I said earlier, I got my shapes over here, but I'm not always in the mood for a triangle. Like, I can only do so much triangle, right? But that doesn't mean the triangle is not part of the pot. Okay, so maybe, the triangle is over there on the other side, but the healing has to have all the parts. So I love what you said there about, not discarding people.
I also like the fact of like when you're broken, or if something is broken, it's not the end, it's actually a new beginning. So that whole, it's like another point of view to look at it. So like, okay, something happened, an egg cracked, there was something broken, not the end. Open a door, or get that, and that is like kind of becomes a superpower.
Also too, when you are broken and you're healing, you do transform. You're still not the same, but you're, somewhat the same, but you have added parts like that bowl, it's the same shape for the most part, but it has an added, beauty to it from being broken and then remade. That's a beautiful concept.
I see Foxy in a group put, we all do our best to come together because there has been a realization that we are too far apart, though we share so many similarities and words to share with one another.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts or observations? Okay. Well, we can move forward. So we have glue or tape, right? And we have a couple more sheets of paper, yes. So what we're going to do is with our second sheet of paper, I saw that some of you, and we are getting close to like crunching on time. Some of you put shapes and lines in your first sheet. So if you did not do that, then in your next sheet, so for example, in my sheet, I just put shapes, okay? So in your next sheet, you can do just lines if you want to, or you can do a combination. So if you did a combination before, so what we're doing is adding more variety, okay? And this is that gold line, right? So we're adding more variety to our pot, okay? So you can try to do something a little bit different, okay? But still you wanna fill up the page. And again, we have about 10 minutes to do this. So you see, how intense it can be. Think about, mixing it up, make some bigger shapes, some smaller shapes. You can do overlapping with lines and shapes, so just have fun with it. Don't make it too serious. And this is just your first iteration of this, okay? So this is your fun, easygoing, right? And later, if you want to do this activity again, you can with other materials that you might like better. Like I would do something like this with paint later. But for today, we're just getting the meat and bones of, how to create something, break it down, and then make something new, okay? All right. So you have 10 minutes to go to your second sheet, fill it up, and then we're going to break it down and put it back together. Okay, just like the pot. Any questions about where we're going?
Doing a third sheet.
Oh, wow.
Well,
You don't get extra credit for doing 3 sheets. That was a beautiful comment, Ife. Thank you for participating. Okay, we have 1 more minute. I should have wanted it sooner, but we have 1 more minute. Okay, time's up. Isn't that 1 minute?
Probably.
You said probably?
Mhm.
All right. So now everyone has 2 pages. Sheree, let me see your second page. Oh, okay. You went bigger on them. I see. All right. Anyone else want to share their page? I forced Sheree to share hers. Anyone else want to share their second page? Or Nikki has 10
All
pages.
right.
Apparently.
Nastasia, Razia got hers up. That looks good.
Oh, okay.
That looks
Nastasia,
good.
a different approach. Nice, Razia. All right. Liz, I see you wanted to share your page, don't you? No, you don't have to.
No, I misunderstood, but there are no mistakes. Where are those
Right.
wise kids? So
Exactly.
yeah, I like tore mine up and started
Oh,
the
okay.
collage
You got
already.
started. She
She
jumped
skipped
through.
ahead. She saw your
jumped through that.
presentation. She saw your
Take my
presentation. Go
glasses
ahead.
off. Okay, yeah, that's
Oh, I like
just
that,
like
Nikki.
AJ said earlier.
I
There's
like that,
no
Nikki.
mistake.
That's nice.
Thanks.
Okay. Oh, I think we lost some people. Oh well. This should be all right. All right. So now, final step. Okay. So this is my second page. I had to get a little lazy on it. Okay. But that's all right because it's just one more step and then there's one more step. Okay. So this step, and this is the trusting part. You guys have been very patient and trusting. I like that. So now,
I want to share.
who's that there?
R.S. Walker, she says she wants to share.
Oh, hold it up. What you got?
Samina, you gonna hold your piece up? All
Oh,
right.
nice.
She got some color
Very
on
nice.
hers too.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
You decided to go with color. Brilliant. All right. Thank you for sharing. Razia, did you want to share? You don't have
I
to.
shared.
Share hers.
Oh, can I see it again?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you did. You did. Thank you. All right. So now what we're doing, boom. And this is going to take 2 seconds. I'm taking my 2 sheets. I got my one intense one, my one more relaxed one. And we're going to tear them down, right? You're going to just tear them up. And this is the part that we were talking about earlier when we were looking at those pots. They were not meticulously cut. It wasn't the way it was supposed to be. The pot, this is the original pot, right? This is the way it was supposed to be. But guess what? It's fractured and broken now. So we're going to just tear them up because that's what happens to us all the time in life. Things get torn up. Sometimes your friends tear you up and you're like, hey, I thought we were friends. You know, sometimes your parents treat you poorly and you're like, what? We were parents. You're supposed to be family. How dare you, right? So we're going to tear these things up. Even though we spent all this time and energy making them, we're tearing them up. Okay, we're not cutting them real cute with scissors. We're tearing them up. Okay, so how do you normally tear something, right? Like this, like a straight line like this, right? I just tore that, but I'm gonna tear it in all kind of ways, like this. I'm gonna tear it like ziggity zag. It's not gonna be perfect strips. I'm just gonna tear it, right? Boom. After we spent all that time making these, tear them up. Boom. Ooh, that one's different. Have fun tearing it. Yes, look at the little ones. They tearing them things up. All right. I think I'm good. Now, the more tiny pieces you tear it up in, the more you have to put it back together. Okay? So if you use bigger pieces, but then too, consider that if it's only torn in half, you only have 2 pieces to put back together. But that's not the way life works, right? There's always something else you need to, put into the mix so it can be nice and strong, right? So that nothing is left out. So I've had probably about 10 pieces here, something like that. So what we're all gonna do is make any kind of arrangement you want, because we don't want it to be back the way it was. We want it to be better, okay? So I'm gonna mix up some of my more intense parts that have a lot of information in them. I'm gonna put some of those next to these parts, so that we have some variety, right? So that we have a lot of different people at the table, right? And they're all interacting, mixed up like a delicious soup. Okay? So for those of you who have tape, right? To put your pieces back together, once you find an arrangement you like, and you can just spread it out on the table in a way you think looks cool. So once you have an arrangement you like, just turn the pieces over and start taping them together. Okay? And if you have glue, just glue all those parts together. Whatever you're going to use, you know how to use it, right? Any questions or concerns? Okay. But before you start putting it together, you want to figure it out on the table to make sure you have a setup that you like. And you want to overlap them a little bit so it's nice and strong.
I got mine face down, and I'm gonna just put it together and then tape it from the back and just see what it looked like when I flip it over. Mm-hmm.
You are bold.
Like a surprise.
You are very bold.
Hope it doesn't look like crap.
It's gonna be a masterpiece, Sheree.
I need a masterpiece.
Oh, you got it. You're full of it. And it doesn't have to turn out to be a rectangle. It can have any shape, because we're making something new, right? This is complicated. I should have took your advice, Sheree.
Ah.
Where did I put my blue tape? And now you guys can do this yourself with any kinds of materials you want. You can do this with painting on paper. You can do this with You could actually use like some old ceramics and, glue them together and make something new. But don't use your parents' dishes, okay?
I hope that was for the children.
Well, it depends. I mean, where you live near your parents, you might, Sheree might go to Miss Pam's house and get in trouble.
I tell her you told me I could do it.
Okay.
Khaulah said I could make an art with your dishes.
If Peaches is on the phone somewhere, she's gonna be like, "That's not true."
Oh no, still there.
Yeah, do not do it. Okay. I'm almost done here. And you don't have to rush because you don't have to complete the piece right now. And there's one more thing, there's one more step I'd like to add to this to, make it more dynamic. This could be something, whatever you made here today, could be something that you can, do more on, and you could even put it in a frame or whatever. Hang it up and say, we're stronger when we get back together. But you can also, like I said, do this on your own later with different materials if you want.
Now you said this doesn't make you an artist, but I don't know. I feel like I got a calling over here. I'm trying to tell you.
You ready for art show?
I don't know. It might be solo exhibition time.
Can I curate it for you?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
This might be the coolest thing I've ever made.
Isukori. Am I saying it correctly, Ife? Isukori?
Can I share mine?
No.
Do both pieces of paper.
Who said that? Samina, you want to share yours? Yeah. Where?
Oh man.
Randomly.
Oh, yes. You really
That's
went
brilliant.
For it.
I think it looks good. That's whatever you think.
I agree.
Do anything with it.
Well, now that we have someone who's finished, putting their piece together. Samina, anyone else finished putting their piece together?
I'm not finished with my first piece of paper. I'm only finished with my second.
Okay. Great. You still working on that one? Good job.
I'm working on the second one.
Okay. Tear it up. You can't be precious about it. The most important thing, the precious thing, is putting it back together. Okay?
Okay.
So now, anyone else finished with theirs?
Yep, I'm done.
Nice. All right. Yeah, I think you're right about that solo show.
You're too kind.
Here's mine. Okay. So now that we have this put together. And if you're still working on putting yours together, keep working on that. Oh, awesome. Akani.
Auntie Khaulah, I think that art actually flows through the air because trees are basically art.
Yes, absolutely. It is art. All right. So now that some of us have ours put together, if you're still working on putting yours together, keep it going. But now that you have that put together, you can go into it with your pencil and add other shapes. You can add other lines to make areas darker or lighter if you want to, but you don't want to erase. You only want to add to it. So when we looked at the pot, all the lines had been covered in gold, but it also had really delicate designs that were added into it as well. So it was decorated with the gold as well. Oh, nice, Nikki. Nice. All right. So what you can do now, if you want to add color to it, like let's say you use just your pencil, now you can just sit with it. You can just sit with it and look at it and say, hey, you know what? I want to see some red in there. Or, I'm really feeling like I need some pink and blue and green or brown, whatever. And then you just start adding to that. And then really consider making those pieces come together with whatever you add to it. And that might be you're having some color that overlaps, one piece to another. So that we're really integrating all of these people that we're bringing with us, to hopefully, walk toward freedom, if you will, the possibility of, safe spaces, healthy, loving, protected spaces. Okay, so that's what we have here. Anyone want to share your experience, how you feel about your piece, thoughts or observations about the things we've discussed today?
I would like to say that this has been a great decompression activity. I had a full day of work and it was just fun to just freely draw these abstract shapes and tear the pieces apart. And it was great having everyone with me because I didn't understand the assignment like the first time. I saw everyone else's and I was like, oh, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. And then I made mine better, I think. And yeah, thank you, everyone. This is great.
You want to show us again what you made? Yeah, that's very dynamic. Very dynamic. It's very intense. I think something's gonna happen with you in that group. Mm-hmm. All right. Anyone else want to share? Oh, you ended up
I want to share my second one.
Okay, just a minute. We're having now. Liz is gonna share, and you can share yours after.
Oh wait, yeah, I need it after you.
Thank you. Thank you, Khaulah. Yeah, so I listened to my own instructions, and then I went and found my own version of like gold tape in here. It's like washi tape. And I tore it all up, so I didn't have two pictures. I only had the one, but this was a really good experience. Yes, Nastasia,
Awesome.
Totally decompressing from the day here. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you for participating. And what's really wonderful is that everyone's creation is so different. Yeah, and you really made it yours. That's awesome.
There.
Okay. Anyone else? Samina, you want to share another thing now? Oh, that is different. Awesome. You got a lot
It's
of
my second one. I just sticked it all together.
Wonderful.
Doesn't it look good with you?
All right. to make sure that no one is left behind. Anyone else want to share? All right. Well, I think we're actually ending on time. Nice. I really am glad that we were able to make this a respectful time frame. So we're respecting you guys' time. And I really appreciate you coming and participating. This was fun. So, hopefully continue giving yourself the space to have fun. Okay. All right.
I would just want to mention, I put in the chat, the Zoom chat, there is a questionnaire. So if you've participated, and I'll just put that in back again, please take a moment and fill out the questionnaire. That helps us to, refine our workshop or acknowledge what went well. And also, this is a part of a grant. So we're able to tell the people who made this possible financially, what this type of program means to you, the community, how you see it's being helpful. So please share that. And then I also will put in that the showcase will be October 23rd. It's a Saturday. It's 1 to 3. So I'm going to put in the Zoom link. Everybody wants to RSVP. If you completed a project, please, that you could either email it to me, or you can click on the call for artists, and there's a submission link to submit the work, and that will be a part of the virtual showcase. So I want to make sure everyone is invited to do that.
And I want to add to that, please do that. So for those of you who are excited about what you've made, or you want to add to it and like really make it even more rich, or, maybe make a different one, please do share that with Niki, because the virtual showcase, whether or not you're in Florida, it will, these things inspire, so that's why we make artwork, so we can just keep talking about all the things that inspire us, right? So, yeah, please do share whatever you have made, especially if you're going to put more love into it, So that's that.
Good.
I add something. So I colored mine in with red, because since these were all like pieces of my community and friends and all these people, I use the color red to represent blood. And I think blood isn't like a negative thing. Blood is healing, Blood is where all of our nutrients come from in our body, oxygen. And I just love how like everyone's come together, and the blood kind of like binds everyone. So that's all. The end.
Oh, that's sweet. All right. I think with that, we should say good night.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you
night,
so
everybody.
much.
Thank you.
Wow.
Much love.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody. This was great.
Yes, it was. Bye.
Ellie.
Robin. Oh, Niki.
What a lyrical laugh.
She's a singer, that's why.
Oh. Oh.
I'm outing her. I'm sorry.
That's it. It's so nice to meet everybody. This is great. I'm gonna work on mine some more too.
Yay.
Yeah, you want some of what you got?
Oh, okay.
You don't have to.
It's coming together. I'm putting some colors in there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank
Dang,
you.
I'm sorry the group didn't get to see this. That's really
Thank
rich.
you. Thank you.
Oh, you definitely gotta take a picture of that.
Okay, I will. I'm still working on it.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
Good
Yeah,
night.
have a good night, okay?
Yeah.
Good night.
All right, I'm gonna fill out the questionnaire too before I go. I forgot about that. Wait, let me go back on here. Okay.
All right, we think I'm out here.
Take care.
Please go.
Peace.